Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and to today's video. Today I wanted to talk about Thailand and living in Thailand for a long time, and does the novelty of living in Thailand wear off after you've lived here for a certain length of time. And yeah, usually I do the video in that other direction there, but the sun's blaring down a bit, so yeah, the backdrop might not be as good as normal, but not to worry. And it got me thinking recently. I was just speaking to someone the other day who is actually leaving Thailand. Been here for an awful long time, and they were telling me that their reason for leaving, their reason for wanting to leave, was that Thailand has become so normal to them. The things that they moved to Thailand originally for were so normal and became so normal that it wasn't worth the other sacrifices that go along with living in Thailand. He referenced having to extend his visa, the 90-day reports, having to get a work permit, his inability to do things that many Thai people can do, and just a general, lack of rights that many foreigners do have here in Thailand. And he decided to leave. And that got me thinking. Maybe if you've been watching the channel over the past few videos, I was talking about, is it time to move back to the UK? I mean, tongue in cheek, of course, I don't actually want to do that. I'm perfectly fine living in Thailand. I love it here. But his opinions and his take sort of resonated with me a bit, because, yeah, I've lived in Thailand for a long time and it's normal. There's nothing that surprises me. There's nothing that shocks me. There's nothing that I see that excites me in a way like it used to do, because I've seen it all before countless times, and it's become the place where that you live. And there are many people who are in the early stages of moving to Thailand, getting ready to move to Thailand, or they've just moved to Thailand, who are still in the early stages of living in the country, and they're not yet, or they haven't yet been here long enough to understand that eventually it will become so normal that it's just like living anywhere else. Now, I wouldn't change that normal for anything else. I love living here. It's great. Thailand's amazing. Wouldn't change it for the world. But the novelty factor that you get originally when you move to Thailand is the feeling that you're in a different place. You're doing something different, something unique, something exciting, something exhilarating, and something that many people dream of doing but never actually do. And then you're here for 6 months and you sort of settle into a routine. You're still excited, you're still seeing things every day that are new and unexpected and shocking in a way. And then a year goes by, and then 2 years go by. And I think that's the 2 to 3 year range, when you sort of realize that you're not going to see anything new, you're not going to see anything different. I'm not talking in relation to places. Like, yes, you can visit new places in Thailand, you can visit new destinations, and that's new. But you're not going to see, when you're walking around the street, you're not going to see anything different after the first 2 or 3 years, because you've seen it all. You've become, ingrained in the country to a level where you've just replaced your own country with Thailand in terms of normalcy. And it's going to vary differently depending on how well people have picked up Thai. I personally, my Thai is not great. I struggle immensely with it, still trying. But I find that understanding Thai, I mean, I understand quite a bit. I do, fair enough. But the people who I've seen who understand Thai even more, who basically are fluent, they get to the point where Thailand is just a replication of where they came from, but just a different environment that you're living in. And the people who perhaps haven't learned Thai very well get laid into by many people. Oh, you've lived in the country for 20 years. Oh, you've lived in the country for 10 years and you don't speak Thai. But by not learning Thai, you still in a way feel like you're sort of on the outside looking in a bit. And that's the feeling that many people love when they first get here. You're on the outside looking in, you're part of it, but you're not an actual part of it. You're a different part of it. You're your own unique part of it that is, different in a way to, learning Thai fluently. Now, I do wish I could speak Thai fluently. I've tried, put so much effort in, But then you get to the point where you're so busy with working and trying to do all kinds of other stuff that you don't have a few hours a day or an hour a day to learn. But my understanding, if I did perhaps speak Thai fluently, it would become maybe too real. It's the non-real side of it, the non-real aspect of Thailand, that makes it still exciting all these years on. And that's something that I think many people don't consider. I look at people who speak Thai fluently and they're more ingrained perhaps in certain aspects. I wouldn't say ingrained in many ways. You can be living here a long time and be ingrained without learning the language. But they're ingrained to a level where they know exactly what's going on here and what's going on there, and they can understand, you know, the political side of things and everything spoken on the Thai news. And to me, although I want to be able to do that, part of me doesn't, because I still want to have the novelty of living in a different country and feeling like you're not here to the same extent that locals are. And that's just something that I've been considering lately for a while, and thinking to myself, why haven't I learned Thai very well? I mean, I can have basic conversations, I can read, I can't pronounce it properly, but I can read, I can write stuff to an okay degree. So I'm not far away. But I'm thinking, why haven't I tried harder? And perhaps there's part of me that still wants to have the outside looking in effect. And I don't want the novelty of Thailand to wear off. I want the novelty to remain. Okay, I've been here for 20 years, but I still want that novelty, because moving to Thailand originally in the early stages, that was enough. That was everything. And the fact to be able to live here, to exist here, and to, you know, have a life here, that was good enough. But if you find yourself, you know, fully ingrained into the way of life, perhaps that wouldn't be good enough anymore, and you'd want more. So that's something I was considering. Another thing to think about in terms of the novelty side of things that many people get, they come to Thailand and they get set in their ways, doing certain things, and they do it time and time and time again, to the point where it's not fun anymore. It's more of a way of life that they can't get away from, and they can't look into or separate from. So the guys that come to Thailand spend all the time in the bars. In the early stages, that would have been an excitement, that would have been a rush, a buzz, and, you know, an awesome thing to be doing. But after time wears on and goes on, it becomes more of I want to try and somehow maintain that novelty effect that I had when I moved here, and I think this is the best way to be able to do that. And I think talking to people who are still yet to move to Thailand, or who have moved and are still in the sort of the honeymoon stage, do you want Thailand to always be that exciting place, that different aspect, the different way of life, the different way of doing things? Do you want the novelty to remain the same? And if you do, you might find yourself, you know, going down like, you know, a rabbit hole of, you know, exploration, trying to somehow keep this novelty factor in place. Because if the novelty wears off, it makes you sort of and ah and think, should I perhaps, you know, try somewhere else? Should I go somewhere else? If there's no novelty of living here, and I don't have lots of the benefits that Thai people have living in Thailand, and many of the advantages that go along with that, I also don't have the novelty anymore, then, you know, what's the point? And I think that's something that many people need to consider. And I thought this was an interesting topic. As I said, I spoke to a guy who left because the novelty wore off, and the things he did to live in Thailand he didn't think was worthwhile anymore. He's moved to I can't even remember where he said, I think he said Vietnam, have another go there, because there's a novelty. But if you're moving from Thailand to Vietnam, or, you know, Cambodia or Philippines, the novelty gap can shrink, you know, probably in a few weeks. The novelty is going to wear off if you move from Thailand to the Philippines. Whereas the novelty, if you moved, for example, from the UK to Thailand, that could wear off after 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. So if you're looking for that fix, that different living in an exciting time, moving from Thailand somewhere else, you're going to be constantly trying to find new places. So to sum things up, someone who's lived in Thailand for a long time, who loved the novelty in the early stages and who in a way misses the novelty factor of living in Thailand and has succumbed to the normalcy of it all because you've been here for such a long time. How do I still try to, what's the right word to use? How do I still try to live that novelty side of things where the fact that I'm in Thailand, it's good enough, and it's it's an adventure in itself, as opposed to seeking greener pastures. How do I do that? And that's something that I've wrestled with for for quite a long time, because the novelty of living in Thailand, as I said earlier on in the video, made living in Thailand enough. Like, people might say, oh, well, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, I live in Thailand. That was the be all and end all, and it has been for many people. But when the novelty does wear off, you find yourself searching for new things. And how I've developed and got into it is by trying to find lots of different things to do, keep extremely busy all the time, thinking of different things. Of course, you've got the YouTube channel. I've got quite a few YouTube channels going at the moment, which is fun. I've got the job working at the moment, which is okay. And I don't give myself enough time to contemplate and to consider alternatives, because I'm sort of busy with lots of different things going on. And other people go the other way. The novelty starts to wear off, and then they get into drink, they get into trying to get that feeling back of what living in Thailand originally gave them. And that's a very hard thing to achieve long term. So there are decisions that you have to make when you're here. And for me, it's just keep yourself as busy as possible. Don't give yourself time to think about alternatives, because the grass always looks greener. Or it's like, oh, should we move somewhere else? Should we give Brazil a go, for example? A country I nearly moved to before Thailand, but I got to Thailand first, and that was it, sort of thing. Should we give somewhere else a go? Because you want that novelty back. And I think you need to accept that the novelty will wear off, and it's how you deal with that, how you deal with the novelty wearing off, that will be how successful you are being able to live in Thailand long term. And that's my personal take. But anyway, guys, really do appreciate you watching this video. I thought it was an interesting topic. You've spoken to that guy, as I said, and he's leaving Thailand because the novelty's worn off and he doesn't see beneficial anymore. Cheers, guys. Really appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Leave the comments what you think about the novelty in Thailand wearing off after a while. And yeah, bye for now.